All right, welcome in everyone. So we are going to be tapping in today to the big event of the week, which is the Pisces lunar eclipse. Eclipses are big. Kind of the theme is around release and renewal. And especially with this Pisces lunar eclipse, we got huge transformation that this is going to bring and a huge opportunity for you. So instead of doing the normal weekly, I'm going to be focusing on this Pisces lunar eclipse, kind of getting what the theme is, any messages that are important for you to be aware of, how to, any guidance to navigate through this energy, and kind of what is. Lastly, I'm going to do a final message around the theme, and again, a message that is going to help you. So I do have to apologize. I was out of town and then I just been getting over a really bad cold, flu. So I was kind of down for the count. So I did miss 2 weeklies, but we're coming back to give you an important message for this week. I'm slowly posting also the September readings. As this is posted, I have already posted the Virgo, Libra, and Scorpio readings, and then I'll be posting the others as we go on here. All right. And since we're digging into a full moon here, I'm going to pull a couple Moonology cards first so we can get some messages. These two flew out, so I'm going to save those, right? So even though I'm kind of focusing on Pisces, I did just want to call in, give some information to you all about 2 other events that happened this week that are going to help kind of set up the energies, also leading up to Saturday, which is again the full moon lunar eclipse. So on the 9th, September 2nd, which we've already passed, Mercury moved into Virgo. So Mercury rules Virgo. So this is some good energy. I mean, they get along, they kind of make sense. So that's going to help bring better energy around this shift. Excuse me. That helps bring, again, with Mercury, brings mental focus and clarity. So that Mercury energy combined with Virgo is going to help bring some mental focus and clarity that day, but also moving forward while Mercury's in Virgo. But this will help motivate you, get you organized, help us just get shit done, right? So this is a good time to take advantage of that. And then on the 5th, Uranus goes retrograde in Gemini. So this can kind of shift and bring up some frustrations, especially around like things where maybe we aren't getting as much progress as we thought. Maybe there's some stagnancy in some area of our life, and that's really going to bring some focus. So kind of the guidance around this energy is just focus on the now, the here and now. Don't focus too much on the future or the past, or just like too much of the big picture, because that's going to just, fuel the frustration. So it's a good time to just focus on the small things, like, maybe there's not as much big progress, but what is the little, what is the little wins? Where have you made some progress, or just seen some shifts in yourself? Maybe it's just your awareness has changed. Anything like that is a positive. And then that brings us to the 7th, Saturday, which is the big Pisces lunar eclipse. This is going to be one of the most emotionally charged events of the year. Pisces is a water sign, which water equates to emotions. Pisces in the tarot is represented by the moon card. So it is about going deep. I mean, this is Pisces is represents this unconscious mind, the real depth of our emotions that we've really pushed down, or that really are at the root of who we are or why we are the way we are. But this lunar eclipses bring breakthroughs, revelations, and also represents kind of endings or things closing. But really, it's about fated events, especially with Pisces. I mean, these are things that are fated. It's getting ready to help you potentially be prepared for something fated that's about to happen, or just having some major breakthroughs. So this is a time to really surrender. The easiest way to flow through this is just totally surrender to whatever comes up for you. This could be emotions that are coming up. This could also be things in your life that are coming up that are kind of major. So you don't want to resist or fight whatever changes that are trying to occur, or potentially even endings. This is great energy that is helping you to integrate something within yourself that is still in conflict, or that is still has not, or parts that are still stuck in past trauma or beliefs that aren't serving you anymore, and really healing. So this is a time to integrate the past. So, but remember, ultimately, this again is a huge transformative time. And this is a major elevation up. That's really what the point of these eclipses are. And ultimately, this is going to bring you more clarity and freedom. So just know the ultimate goal of whatever's happening is ultimately freedom from whatever you've been carrying. So let's go ahead and get started with the reading. So the Oracle, the Moonology card. So we had the adjustments are required. The third quarter moon flew out. Bring love into the situation. New moon in Aries. And I'm going to pull one more here. Conclusions are within reach. There we go. Right on theme. So I do feel like if you've been in a difficult, challenging situation or period, if you have been praying, I'm getting some intuitive hits of like even that people have been praying like for help in something, or what do I do in the situation, or how do I get out of this situation, or overcome this. I feel like, again, the conclusions are within reach are kind of indicating like, hey, you know, you're almost there. I do feel like there is something with adjustments are required. I think you need to adjust, I guess, your expectations, or just adjust how you, like, how this is going to unfold, or adjust how you're approaching things. Because then I feel like the guidance in adjustments is you need to come from your heart in your authentic truth. So whatever the situation is that you're dealing with, if it's a relationship, maybe it's a certain dynamic, a family issue, for some reason I'm really getting it is something about more relationship wise, and not just love. I feel like this could be at work, this could be a boss, this could be a child, family member, parent. It could be love. It could be partner. But I am feeling like this is where this major breakthrough or transformation is going to happen in our relationships. And because when we see Pisces, which is really a focus on emotions, I mean, what are the biggest impacts to our emotional body is going to be our connections. All right. September, what are you bringing for us with this first eclipse? We're kicking off eclipse season here. What's more information about this Pisces lunar eclipse? Yep, we're wrapping up. we're wrapping up and we're concluding something that definitely has been heavy. We've been carrying a lot of baggage around something, and I almost get part of that, like what I said, you've been praying about something, is like, it feels, again, more emotional baggage. Some situation has been emotionally heavy for you. It could be even karmic situations that you just feel like, I don't know how to cut myself from this person or this situation. Like, I feel very karmically almost attached to this. Even though it hasn't done anything, most of this, connection has brought me difficulty, or like overall, if you look at this connection, you probably see like 75%, I'm just throwing an example, 75% of the time, it causes you more stress than it causes you to feel less stress. There's probably some good aspects to this, and you could look back, there has been some good times, but I feel like mostly the hard times overshadow. And look at that, we have the Queen of Cups. So definitely, you could be dealing, some small few percentage of you could be dealing with a water sign, which is a Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer. But I also see this as like, this is a figure of you walking away with your cup. It's like, you know what, I'm now this revelation of like, definitely this 10 of Wands, your cup is not getting filled. Like, everyone is throwing their crap, their baggage, their stress, their traumas onto you, which has really depleted you. And now it's like you're walking away like, no, I'm starting a new era of what's right for me emotionally, what's going to fill my cup. And I feel like that's what's kind of motivating you. Ten of Pentacles, Queen of Pentacles, the Star, and the Knight of Cups. So I feel like you're walking into a new era as well in your life of abundance. I think part of you realizing like, I'm not doing this anymore. You're kind of starting on a new path here. This could even be just like, finally you're really focused on working through your emotional baggage and realizing like you have to work through it and integrate it. But part of that process is also opening you up and clearing any blocks to abundance. And this, I'm seeing literally pentacles, so this could be money coming in. And now you're the Queen of Pentacles. You're transforming. It's like you realize your block has always been an emotional block. And as long as you're in a situation that you're not emotionally happy or fulfilled, that's really dragging you down. But now, when you free yourself from that, now you're the Queen of Pentacles and you're really grounding into the physical and creating a new life that's really now physically manifesting. And it's something that is really healing for you. I feel like this is also bringing in things that you've really wished for and really wanted to experience or have, and it's finally coming. And part of that at the end here is love. So for those of you where potentially there's a relationship, like a love relationship that is reached its conclusion here, the end of the road, I do feel like there's something new coming in here. So I really like this. All right, let's keep going here. We have the King of Cups. So we have the King and Queen of Cups, the Five of Wands, and the Empress. So there's definitely a situation, I feel like there is love here. I definitely feel there's love. But the phrase I'm hearing is love isn't enough. You know, two people can still really be in love or love each other, but it's like there's always this undertone of conflict going on. It just seems like you can't get on the same page. So, and I feel like you're elevating up again. This eclipse is really elevating you into the Empress here. Like you're going from the Queen of Cups to the Empress. So this is really, you know, and maybe that's what this kind of karmic attachment is. It's like you just can't, as hard as you want to maybe release this or, you know, overcome this situation, it just feels like there's something energetically tying you to this that you can't cut. Five of Swords, yep. The Hermit. And the Four of Swords, yeah. So you've been really, at the core of this, the Hermit here, this has been a really situation or relationship that is a source, like the root of this is, this situation or relationship is like spiritually evolving you in a way that I don't think you realize. I do also feel like this eclipse is giving you some major revelationary insight. Like insight to your past, insight to even, I'm getting past lives, and where this conflict stems from, and why you've been so attached to this for so long. This is definitely some sort of control battle going on with this person. And I don't feel like this person at the core is a bad person. I just feel like this power struggle really stems from emotional needs not being met. And if you feel like your emotional needs have not been met by another person, I feel like this person is really disconnected from their own needs, emotional needs. And I feel like their childhood was one where their emotional needs were never met. And their only way of coping was to literally, you know, shut themselves off from their needs. And so they have no capability of understanding how to have a focus on other people's needs and know how to give that. Because I feel like they see other people's needs as a control mechanism. Like it really triggers them. So this is pretty deep. But you are moving into this Empress era, like I said. This is going to be a really healing period for you after this eclipse. I also heard, because the Four of Swords can be about, you know, praying, like really praying on something. And it's almost like, I said that earlier about, I saw this intuitively, I was seeing that some people are literally praying about the situation. And I do feel like it's almost saying your prayers are going to be answered. Nine of Pentacles, Four of Pentacles, and the Three of Swords. Yeah, this situation is... So I feel like both of you in this situation have really been holding on to this and not wanting to let go. This is about really healing some really deep heartache. And I feel like this relationship does cross lifetimes. It's almost like this person wants to be in a relationship, but they also want to maintain some sense of freedom. So it's almost like this could be someone who's maybe commitment phobic, doesn't know how to integrate someone else into their life because they want to independently build their life, independently feel like they have control of their life. Because I feel like, again, in childhood, they never felt like they had control, and they probably had parents that were very authoritarian. It's kind of like that shut up and do what I say type parents. But yeah, this has caused a lot of heartache. And especially even the Four of Pentacles is about holding back your truth, holding back your heart, your love, really blocking yourself from relationships, even though at the root you want this. Like this King of Cups, like there's a lot of deep emotions here and a lot of love. They don't know how to they have to work through all those layers to get to their heart and really trying to understand themselves in these emotions that they have. And they're just so withheld here. And that's been the root of where all this turmoil, conflict, heartache. But you're healing this. Like I said, there's this nurturing energy coming in with the Empress here. That's like a mother energy. And I really feel this strong nurturing energy coming in to help you to do some healing of anything that's really been blocking you from a heart perspective. Let me get one for this Empress and this Four of Swords. Two of Swords. The Temperance. I'm getting that you've been in a holding pattern. And there's been a reason for this. And like your higher divine support, like your guides, your angels, are kind of saying with the Temperance of like, there's been a reason for all this and the time it took, and it, almost you feeling stuck. And like there hasn't been growth in this. And that's really been frustrating for you. And I do feel like you're going to feel that on, if you haven't felt it, but on Wednesday, well, I'm going to post this probably Wednesday evening, but today is that Uranus going retrograde in Gemini. So this Two of Swords energy, this like sitting on the fence, kind of waiting around for this person, like waiting and feeling like you can't cut yourself off from this. I feel like it's going to kind of bring up, you're finally going to really feel some frustrations around this. Let's talk to this King of Cups. What's going on with this King of Cups here? More information. Yeah, we got the Death card and the Six of Swords. So, I hate, obviously, to me it's not about negative readings, but most people don't want to hear about ending of a relationship and moving on. But definitely there's some, I feel like this person has to go through some major transformation. And I just feel like they almost need to do this on their own. And this could be the trigger factor of you moving away from them. That's going to trigger their huge, it could be trigger a dark night of the soul. I don't want you to hold on to thinking, oh, I don't, and this too with the Five of Swords can be about manipulation. So I don't want you to manipulate yourself in the situation and play games by thinking, well, here's my tactic. I'm going to end it with them or walk away from them in the hopes that that's going to make them change. And then they're going to change and we're going to get back together. It's going to be everything I wanted. That's actually a form of manipulation. So I don't want you to think that. I feel like it's going to have to take a lot for this person to change. And I don't think that they're going to change that quickly. But I definitely think this is going to be a catalyst that's going to really put them in a deep place. But, you know, that's what their soul needs. What's the Three of Swords? Interesting. Two Knights, King of Pentacles, King of Swords. One more. Page of Wands. What I'm seeing to this is I almost feel like there's like two sides to this. The reason why this has been so difficult, there's like two sides to somebody. And if you see here, I feel like their true self is the King of Cups. Like I said, there's a lot of emotions, a lot of depth here. But I feel like they have learned to protect their emotional body by putting up this swords energy and this pentacle energy of like, nope, I'm not going there. So how they really project themselves is outwardly by trying to appear like, I got my shit together. I feel like they can be cold and kind of lack emotional depth from the outside. And they try to almost compensate by, let me try to appear like I'm this King of Pentacles. Like, look at my life. I need to build this life that looks good on paper to try and prove my worth. And it's like, but underneath there's this Page of Wands. So underneath there's this child, you know, it's almost like underneath they're just this, you know, 8-year-old child that's trying to appear like they're mature and got their shit together when really they're not. But the only way to really compensate and come together and integrate this child that's been stuck is by really going into their emotions. And this lunar eclipse could do that for them. And look at underneath, we have the Two of Cups. So the theme here is around relationships. It's about integrating. It's about coming into harmony with ourselves. And then look at that. And then we can have the Ten of Cups. I think we can end on that. So the theme is obviously emotions, which we have that Piscean energy. Theme of relationships. Balancing the internal emotional body within ourselves is going to help us then manifest things in the external that are going to emotionally fulfill us. All right, I'm going to do one last message from the Gaia Oracle. So let's see, what is the final message for the collective around this Pisces lunar eclipse and anything that you need to be aware of what this is doing for everybody. All right, we got evolution here. Earth changes, climate change, transformation. Look at that. Couldn't be right on point. And I'm going to read this. So, our world is cradled in a cosmic ocean of love, surrounded by an infinite universe, governed by a higher force greater than our human mind can know or comprehend. We are a forever changing image, forever transforming on our journey through eternity. Yes, the climate is changing, and yes, the earth is transforming, but this has always been so, and this will always continue. Are we governed by a will greater than our own, or are we the architects of our own future? This we do not know for sure, but one thing is certain, whether we like it or not, our precious planet will continue to transform. From the stars we were born, into a star we shall transform and return to. Be mindful of Mother Earth, be considerate and kind to her, but do not fear her changing nature, for just like us, she is transforming to ever greater light. And I think that's just saying, you know, us as energetic consciousness, the one universal law that is constant is change, is transformation, is growth. Yeah, so we're constantly transforming, but I think right now it's just finding that understanding of that, surrendering to the flow, understanding that, you know, our experience, just like everyone else in the earth, is constantly evolving and changing, and we're here to really evolve. So I think the theme here, there is a lot about transformation and just shifts and movement forward, and knowing that too, when we're feeling stuck or stagnant, or we're wanting change but we're not seeing it as well, that maybe there's also a part of us that is afraid of it. So there's that conflict. Oh, interesting. So that just came to me, and we have the conflict card. And with the Hermit too, I feel like there's this finding some understanding in that awareness. And maybe it's this reading. Maybe it's this reading where you're like, aha, you know, maybe it is. When I really go into the emotion of it, you know, maybe what I really want is change, but a part of me is afraid of it. A part of me is afraid of detaching from something, and because there's some fear of what's on the other side. So I'm going to leave that as a party message. I feel like there's a lot of insights this week for you and potential here. And because this just came to me quick, I just want to get one for the Knight of Cups of what's coming here. One for the Knight of Cups. Ooh, King of Wands. Yep, Nine of Cups. Look at this. So yeah, what's wanting to come in here is new love. Someone who really is, like, it's kind of like who they are is, it like they're authentic. So there could be like this past person or this current person. Again, like I said, there's this two-sided piece to them where they want to appear to be something, but it's not really who they are. But this person, the King of Wands, is really, they show up with their heart on their sleeve. They are who they are. And I just feel like they're connected. They've really spent the time to connect to who they truly are. And also, I mean, they walk the walk. Or they walk the talk. Whatever that is. What they say is really what they do. What they do is really consistent with who they are. And this is what you really want. This is what you've really been wishing for. So there was a reason I needed to say that too, because that just proved this, that there's really this great thing coming. So I'm going to leave you with that, guys. Enjoy the weekend. Enjoy this eclipse. Just do some, you know, full moon kind of, you can do some full moon cleansings, or ceremonies, or anything that just helps you really align and take in the energy to help you get the full potential of it. All right, I will see you in the next reading. Bye for now.